mates are back once again, not to squash Goombas or collect coins, but revel in the glory of the world's biggest sport, football.
And Battle League is not the first time on the pitch for the Mushroom Kingdom pals. This is in fact the third Mario Strikers game, once again putting the focus on the multiplayer.
Here's how it works. Matches take place on a small field, which feels about the size of a basketball court. So this is more like indoor football, or futsal. Because of that, there's just 4 characters on each team. But even so, matches are hectic. There's passing, tackling, and scoring goals as you would expect in football, but staying true to Mario form, there's also power-ups to cause some chaos. From turtle shells, to banana skins, and even bob-ombs.
You have a few extra moves at your disposal too, like charged up shots for greater accuracy and power, as well as a dodge and a sprint.
Oh, this game does get really busy on screen, and I did find it tricky to keep track of what was going on sometimes. With the ball constantly moving and characters tackling each other like crazy, I never felt like I had the space to think about what I was doing too much. Not that there aren't some precise moves here. There's actually quite a long tutorial that takes you through some pretty advanced skills. But it felt like every match quickly reduced to some very frantic mashing of the tackle and shoot buttons.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's just because the playing field isn't very big. So you don't have a lot of time on the ball to think things through or try out a new skill. Instead of feeling like real football, it's more of a crazy party game.
Oh, totally. It's chaotic, and you do score goals by fluke. Things sometimes feel unfair, but there's usually a power-up to help you get back into the match. The best of which are the Hyper Strike orbs.
I love those. Grab one and you can charge up a super strike, if you get the timing right. Each character has their own unique strike. But my favorite is still Wario's bum power move.
I did appreciate all those animations. They're really good. And I also like that there's a chance to stop a Hyper Strike from going in, if you can mash the buttons fast enough. They're worth 2 goals, so it hurts when your opponent manages to get one in.
Let's go! Oh, yeah!
Something else that Battle League brings to the table is equipable gear. You earn coins by winning matches, which you can spend on headwear, gloves, boots, and so on, that very slightly increase your stats, such as speed, strength, technique, and things like that. The gear does look cool, but I found it only made a noticeable difference if I maxed out one stat to the full.
Like making a nimble character like Toad even faster. Or giving a heavy character like Donkey Kong even more strength.
And even then, most gear also carries a negative effect on other stats, so it all seemed to just balance out. It feels a little pointless.
But like you said, the gear does look cool, right?
Yeah.
I do get what you mean, though. It would have been nice if it made more of a difference on how the game plays. And it is a grind to get the coins to unlock it all. Playing through cup matches is where you'll get the best bang for your buck if you're playing Battle League solo. These are progressively more difficult matches against teams that specialise in a certain skill, like passing or strength. They're a decent challenge, and once you complete the first set of cups, you'll unlock more.
Cup mode aside, this game isn't really made for solo players because there's not much other than standard matches. There's no skill mini games, there's no story mode, or anything else to keep you playing, which made me a bit sad.
Yeah, but if you have siblings or buddies you play with a lot, then it is a party game you might pull out to play every now and then. When games get really intense and everyone's shooting like crazy and slamming poor old Yoshi or Toad into the ground to get the ball, and then the match goes to golden goal and people start yelling, that can be a good time. It doesn't have the same multiplayer chops as, say, Mario Kart, but it's decent.
I expected a lot more from this. It feels like it could have a whole extra mode or just something more. I know they've tried to add more depth to the controls with through passes and timed button taps, but the tiny playing field doesn't give you the time to explore those moves properly or play with any meaningful strategy.
Oh, no!
Jem, I'm pretty disappointed. I'm giving Mario Strikers Battle League Football 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Fair enough. I agree it's not the best Mario sports game. Mario Tennis and Mario Golf are definitely better than this. But I think as long as you're playing it with friends, enjoying some friendly trash talking and rubbing it in when you score, this will bring a smile to your face. So I'm giving it 3 out of 5 rubber chickens. Rad? Rad? What are you... Oh, we're looking at rabbits, aren't we?
Hold still, will ya?
Hurry! We've got to go after that spark of light!
Yes, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope is here to give us more of the surprisingly good Mushroom Kingdom meets Rabbids tactical goodness that we first saw in Kingdom Battle.
And it all begins in typical Mario adventure fashion, when a big bad thing shows up and ruins an otherwise lovely day. But surprise, it's not Bowser this time. It's a gigantic galactic manta ray controlled by an evil force known as Cursor, which is gunking up everything with darkness. Cue our team of heroes heading off on an adventure to sort that out.
This time they've brought in a lot of elements from Mario Galaxy. You and your crew jump on a spaceship and head to a handful of unique planets to try and track down Rosalina to help take on Cursor in their stronghold. Sadly though, no worlds or fights are set on tiny round little planetoids, which is a missed opportunity in my books.
That would have been very cool. But we also soon meet Sparks, which are Rabbid versions of Loomis. 2 Sparks can be attached to any character and can either give their attacks status effects like fire or unlock extra abilities. They're a great addition and open up heaps of possible strats and combos. You could combine the close quarters fighting of Rabbid Mario with a spark that pulls enemies towards you, or give long-range Luigi the ability to turn invisible to sneak behind enemy lines, to name just a few options.
Yeah, more choice is just about everywhere, and more choice means more potential tactics. You're no longer forced to take Mario into each battle, freeing you up to choose whichever 3 heroes you want. Although several battles will force you to bring a specific character or team to the fight. But this was a welcome way to just push me outside my comfort zone a little bit and bring more designed puzzly style battles to the table.
I do really love the roster of the heroes too. Each of them feels powerful and useful and just satisfying to play with, so it's definitely worth experimenting with each of them. We have lost Yoshi and Rabbid Yoshi as heroes, but in their place, we get a few new faces. These include the sword-flinging, dash-chaining Edge, the grumpy, demotivational Rabbid Rosalina, and the rocket-launching, explosive minion-spawning tank that is Bowser. I do wish they'd made Rabbid Bowser, though. That's something the world needs to see.
I think I could live without it. They have tweaked the combat a fair bit too. Movement is perhaps where the biggest change comes in. Characters can now wander around within their range of movement, free to use their abilities and then continue moving around. It's only once they fire their weapon that they get locked in place. This is a huge shift from the Kingdom Battle grid.
Oh, absolutely. And it's amazing how much it opens your options in battle. Letting you and your team leapfrog off each other, fire off special abilities and dashes, and then wander around a bit to find the perfect position before finally taking your shot. It's a great system.
And some characters are able to do multiple team jumps. Combined with things like pipes and jump pads you can launch off as much as you like, it makes for a super mobile tactics game where, if you plan it right, you can zip around the whole battlefield.
I also enjoyed how they managed to change up the objectives in each fight too. You'll go from simply having to wipe out the enemy team, having to just reach a certain point, or survive wave after wave, battle through a multi-phase boss, or have some unique objective like this one level where you have to throw special bombs to break dark mist dams. each battle manages to feel unique in some way.
Definitely. And even though some of the side encounters are a bit samey, I did love the huge variety in maps. From huge multi-level arenas to tiny little islands, it constantly mixes things up. Outside of those battles, the overworlds are more fleshed out too. Each world feels more like a big, interesting space to explore rather than just a glorified map, with lots of characters and stories sprinkled around too.
Oh, bingo, bingo, bongo, baby.
They're also chock full of little puzzles that were pretty simple, but just engaging and brief enough to not feel like annoying busy work.
And each world is filled with side missions, as well as enemies wandering around, which you can choose to ignore or take on for a quick fight to get some extra star bits and XP. Those star bits can then be fed to your sparks to level them up and improve their bonuses. Meanwhile, leveling up will get you skill prisms, which you can throw into each character's skill tree to boost their abilities in some pretty exciting ways that really change things up. And I love that you're able to reallocate the prisms anytime with no cost.
Same. And I thought this story was pretty cute too. It's just a fun and silly adventure with nice little cutscenes and a bit of heart to it.
I'm back.
They've even given the Rabbids actual voices too.
Hey, little fella.
Thankfully, they don't speak much, so it doesn't ruin the traditional Rabbid vibe, but does give the Rabbids just a little bit more personality.
Hey, mamma mia.
But we should wrap this up. Final thoughts, Gem?
Well, I mean, what's not to love? It's a brilliant, bright, deep tactics game. So I'm giving Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope 5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, they took a winning formula and made a few little tweaks to just make it even better. I'm also giving it 5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Blah.